Content warning. This story contains graphic depictions of violence and death that may be unsuitable for some readers. Nate and his friends were taking a hike in the forest when they came across an abandoned cabin deep in the woods. The cabin looked old and weathered, and it was obvious that it had not been occupied for years. The group decided to check it out, hoping to find some interesting artifacts or clues about its previous residents. As soon as they entered the cabin, they knew something was not right. The air was thick, there was a strange odor in the air, and the floorboards creaked with each step they took. Suddenly they heard a sound coming from upstairs, the sound of footsteps. Nate and his friends exchanged worried glances, but decided to investigate. As they climbed the stairs, they heard whispers in the darkness. The hairs on the back of Nate's neck stood up as they became aware of the danger they were in. When they reached the top of the stairs, they saw something that made their blood run cold. In the center of the room was a circle of candles, and standing in the middle was a woman in a black cloak. She was chanting a ritualistic chant, and her eyes were fixated on them. Nate and his friends turned to run, but it was too late. The woman's incantations had activated a trap, and the door slammed shut, trapping them inside. The woman smiled wickedly, and the room grew dark, but the candles illuminating the circle kept flickering with a strange green flame. Suddenly, they heard the sound of nails scraping at the door. Nate's friends started panicking, and the fear was palpable. The door creaked open to reveal a horde of zombies, slowly making their way towards them. They were like nothing Nate had ever seen before. Their eyes were dark, empty pits, and their flesh was rotting. Nate and his friends tried to fight their way out, but the zombies seemed immune to any weapon they tried using. They could hear their teeth grinding against each other, and their hands reaching for them. One by one, Nate's friends got snatched and ripped apart by the monsters. Nate was alone now, facing a pack of ravenous zombies. His heart was pounding in his chest, and his body was soaked in sweat. Just when he thought he was done for, he noticed a faint purple light emanating from the necklace he was wearing, and the world seemed to freeze around him. As he looked around, the zombies were motionless, frozen in place. Nate realized that the necklace was protecting him from their grasp. Suddenly, the woman in the black cloak began to cackle maniacally and shouted in a language he didn't understand. The purple light emanating from his necklace grew brighter, and the zombies started to disintegrate. Nate breathed a sigh of relief as the woman fled the cabin. He thanked his lucky stars that he had found the necklace at a garage sale years ago and had always kept it with him. He used it like a beacon to guide him through the woods, and eventually he found his way back to civilization. He was barely able to explain the events that had happened to the local authorities, and they didn't believe him at first. However, they soon found the abandoned cabin in the forest, and several human remains were found inside. Years later, Nate never spoke of that incident with anyone again, but always kept the necklace close to his heart, as a reminder to never underestimate the power of the unknown.